Welcome back to the deep dive. This time we're kind of stepping into a different world this time.
Yeah.
Stepping into a world of shimmering ballrooms,
Ooh.
scandalous whispers, and a tragedy that captivated the nation back in the day.
That's a good one.
You've provided us with a treasure trove of material on the lives of Anne and Billy Woodward.
Yeah.
Newspaper clippings, interviews, even glimpses into Truman Capote's
Oh, wow.
controversial portrayal of their story.
Yeah.
It's a story that reminds us that behind the facade of wealth and privilege, human desires and frailties
He's still there.
play out just as intensely.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh.
This is a fascinating deep dive, I think, because it offers a window into a bygone era.
Yeah.
You know, the mid-20th century where social mobility was so complex
Right.
and often treacherous,
Yeah. Especially for a woman like Anne.
especially for a woman like Anne.
Her journey starts in a place about as far removed from New York high society as you can imagine.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Rural Kansas. I mean, we're talking dirt roads, small-town gossip, and a family struggling to make ends meet.
Yeah. Anne's early life was indeed shaped by hardship.
It was.
Her father, it seems, was more interested in chasing pipe dreams than providing for his family,
Yeah.
and leaving her mother, Ethel, to carry the weight.
Ethel sounds like an incredible woman.
She does.
I mean, she ran a taxi business,
Mm,
juggled multiple jobs, and basically refused to let poverty define their lives.
that's right. And that resilience had a profound impact on Anne.
It did.
You mentioned that that Ethel even gave Anne a bag of cash
Right.
and a company car when she left for New York.
Yeah,
I mean, that speaks volumes about the values Ethel instilled in her daughter.
it does, but it also hints at a deeper fear, the fear of returning to poverty.
Right.
We know that Ethel blamed herself for the death of her son,
Oh.
believing that it wouldn't have happened if they had more resources.
Right.
I can only imagine how that must shaped Anne's worldview.
Absolutely. It likely fueled her ambition.
Right.
Like that burning desire to create a life. Yeah.
Far removed from the hardships of her childhood.
Okay, so picture this. You ready?
Yeah.
A 22-year-old Anne arrives in New York City,
Okay.
armed with little more than a few dollars, and that unshakable determination inherited from her mother.
Wow.
She sets her sights on the Powers Agency,
Okay.
one of the most prestigious modeling agencies at the time.
Wow, so she went straight for the top.
And this is where we see her tenacity.
Yeah.
She's told she needs a nose job to make it in the modeling world.
Oh, wow.
She doesn't even hesitate.
Right.
Borrows money, gets the procedure done.
Wow.
Talk about commitment.
That's serious commitment.
I mean, it really highlights the pressure to conform,
Yeah.
especially in an industry that's obsessed with beauty standards.
Oh, for sure.
But Anne doesn't stop there.
No.
She lands a chorus girl role on Broadway,
Oh, wow.
starts mingling with the city's elite,
Okay.
and her star is on the rise.
So she's moving up.
But just as things are looking up,
Ah.
tragedy strikes.
Her mother's health deteriorates.
Right.
And Anne is faced with a heartbreaking choice. Pursue her dreams in New York or return to Kansas to care for her ailing mother.
That's a tough one.
It's a pivotal moment in her life.
Yeah.
It's a clash between ambition and filial duty.
Mm-hmm.
Anne tries to find a balance, even paying to have her mother transferred to New York for treatment.
Oh, wow.
But ultimately, Ethel's death becomes a turning point.
Okay.
Anne decides to leave Kansas behind for good,
Yeah.
recommitting to her pursuit of a life far removed from her humble beginnings.
It's a decision fueled by grief, but also perhaps by a renewed sense of purpose.
Right.
The stakes are higher now. She's
Yeah.
carrying the weight of her mother's sacrifices and her own unfulfilled dreams.
So back in New York,
Ugh.
Anne finds herself working at the Monte Carlo,
All right.
a glamorous nightclub frequented by the city's wealthiest and most powerful figures.
Ooh la la.
And this is where she encounters William Woodward Sr.,
Okay.
a prominent banker and racehorse owner. And, as you might imagine, William Sr. is already married.
Oh.
But that doesn't stop him from becoming infatuated with Anne.
Oh, no.
This marks the beginning of a complicated and rather scandalous chapter in her life.
This is where it gets good.
Scandalous is putting it mildly.
Okay. Tell me more.
He concocts this elaborate plan to have Anne date his son, Billy, as a cover for their affair.
Wow.
It speaks to the moral complexities of this world.
Right.
The lengths people would go to maintain appearances,
It's incredible.
even if it meant using their own children as pawns in their games.
Yeah.
And what's even more surprising is that Anne agrees to this charade.
Really?
It makes you wonder, what was going through her mind?
I know.
Was it a calculated move for social advancement? Or was there genuine affection for Billy mixed in?
You never know.
It's impossible to know for sure.
Yeah.
But we have to remember the context.
Right.
Anne's entire life had been a struggle for survival, for a chance to escape the poverty that haunted her family. Perhaps this was an opportunity too tempting to resist.
I can see that.
But let's not forget about Elsie Woodward,
Oh, no.
Billy's mother.
Okay.
She represents the old guard of New York society,
Right.
the epitome of wealth and social standing.
The creme de la creme.
And she sees right through Anne's facade.
Oh, she does.
Elsie becomes a formidable force in this story.
Okay.
A gatekeeper determined to protect her family name.
Right.
And her son, from what she perceives as a gold digger.
Yeah.
From the moment they meet at the racetrack, the tension between them is palpable.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Elsie is suspicious, disapproving,
Uh-oh.
and will stop at nothing to keep Anne out of her family.
Wow.
It sets the stage for a clash of wills,
It does.
a battle between the old world and the new, with Billy caught in the middle.
Oh, boy.
And it's here that the real drama unfolds.
Okay.
Billy, much to his mother's dismay,
Yeah.
falls head over heels for Anne.
He does.
He's drawn to her vivacity,
Interesting.
her ambition, perhaps even her defiance of the social norms his mother holds so dear.
So she's a little bit of a rebel.
Maybe so.
And their whirlwind romance leads to a hasty marriage, much to Elsie's outrage.
Oh yeah, Elsie is not happy.
Yeah, I bet.
She even tries to sabotage the wedding,
Really?
hiring a private detective to dig up dirt on Anne's past.
Oh, my God.
It's like something out of a movie.
I know.
The disapproving mother, the forbidden romance,
Right.
the secrets lurking just beneath the surface.
Yeah, and as we'll see.
And as we'll see, those secrets have a way of coming back to haunt everyone involved.
Oh, that's a good cliffhanger.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
We'll have to wait till next time to dive back into that.
All right. It really is like a soap opera or something.
It is. It's juicy.
Yeah, you have this clash of personalities, this undercurrent of secrets and ambition,
Yeah,
all set against the backdrop of immense wealth and social pressure.
right.
It's a recipe for drama, to say the least.
And as we dig deeper into their marriage,
Yeah.
we see how those underlying tensions
Yeah.
begin to kind of crack the surface.
Okay.
The truth about Anne's past relationship with William Sr. eventually comes out,
Uh-oh.
throwing their already fragile union into turmoil.
Right, right.
It's a revelation that shatters the illusion of their perfect life.
Yeah.
Billy feels betrayed not just by Anne,
Right.
but by his own father.
Ouch.
And this sense of betrayal is amplified by another major event that shapes their lives.
Okay.
World War II.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
This is where the story takes a darker turn.
Okay.
Billy, who had led a life of privilege and ease,
Right.
is suddenly thrust into the horrors of war.
Oh, gosh.
He serves on a destroyer in the Pacific
Oh.
and experiences firsthand the brutality and chaos of combat.
I can't even imagine.
The torpedo attack on the USS Lipscomb is a pivotal moment for Billy.
Okay.
He survives, but the psychological scars run deep.
Oh, yeah.
The trauma of that experience, the loss of so many of his comrades,
Right.
changes him profoundly.
It's a classic case of survivor's guilt, wouldn't you
Yeah,
say?
absolutely.
He returns home decorated for his bravery, but inwardly,
Yeah.
he's wrestling with demons that no metal can erase.
He comes back a different man,
Yeah.
haunted by what he witnessed.
And this transformation has a profound impact on his relationship with Anne.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Right.
How does this war trauma manifest itself in their interactions?
Well, he becomes withdrawn,
Okay.
prone to bouts of heavy drinking,
Yeah.
and increasingly critical of Anne and her efforts to fit into his world.
Yeah.
It's as though he's punishing her for the ambition that he initially found so alluring.
That's a fascinating insight. I mean, it's almost as if
Yeah.
he's rejecting the very values and aspirations of the world he comes from.
Right.
The world that now seems shallow and meaningless in light of what he's experienced.
Exactly. And Anne, in the meantime,
Yeah.
is trying desperately to hold on to this life she's built
Right.
to become the perfect society wife.
Yeah.
But no matter how hard she tries, she can never seem to please Billy
Right.
or gain full acceptance from Elsie.
It's a heartbreaking cycle.
It is.
She's trapped in this gilded cage of her own making,
Right.
constantly seeking validation from those who seem determined to withhold it.
And the cracks in their marriage only widen with time.
They do.
The drinking escalates, arguments become more frequent and volatile.
Yeah.
There are even whispers of physical altercations between them.
This is where the story starts to take on that sense of inevitability that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
It's like we're watching a train wreck in slow motion.
And that feeling is heightened by another factor that comes into play.
Okay.
Billy's affair with Princess Marina Torlonia.
Oh, wow.
It's a public humiliation for Anne, a clear indication that he's seeking escape and solace elsewhere.
So Anne's worst fears are materializing.
Mm-hmm.
The life she so meticulously crafted is crumbling around her.
Yeah.
Her marriage is falling apart.
Right.
Her social standing is threatened.
No.
And the whispers of gossip are growing louder.
This is where her mental state becomes a crucial element in the story.
It does.
The sources you've provided paint a picture of a woman on edge,
Yeah.
struggling with insomnia,
Right.
relying heavily on sleeping pills and becoming increasingly paranoid.
It's a downward spiral fueled by anxiety, insecurity,
Right.
and perhaps even a sense of desperation.
Adding to this volatile mix is a series of prowler incidents
Oh, yeah.
that plague their neighborhood in Oyster Bay.
Okay.
Both Anne and Billy become fixated on this unknown intruder.
Right.
Their fears amplified by their already heightened emotional states.
So it's almost like a psychological thriller
Right.
unfolding in real life.
Exactly.
The tension, the paranoia,
Yeah.
the sense of an unseen threat lurking just outside their door.
And this fear reaches a fever pitch on the fateful night of the shooting.
Yeah.
Anne and Billy attend a party,
Okay.
hosted by none other than Wallis Simpson, the Duchess of Windsor.
Oh, wow.
Imagine the conversations, the undercurrents of anxiety and suspicion swirling amidst the champagne and caviar.
It's a stark contrast, isn't it?
It is.
The glittering facade of high society juxtaposed with this
Yeah.
underlying current of fear and unease.
They return home from the party late that night,
Okay.
both heavily intoxicated.
Right.
They retreat to their separate bedrooms.
No.
And sometime later, Anne hears noises.
Okay.
Convinced it's the prowler,
Yeah.
she grabs a shotgun
Right.
and fires into the darkness.
Oh, no.
And the unthinkable happens.
What?
The shot hits Billy,
Oh.
killing him instantly.
It's a tragedy that sends shockwaves through their social circle
Right.
and becomes a national sensation.
Of course.
The question on everyone's lips is,
Yeah.
was it a tragic accident,
Mm-hmm.
as Anne claims,
Right.
or something more sinister?
It's a question that haunts the rest of their story.
Yeah.
A mystery that lingers even today.
It's almost like a whodunit, you know?
Yeah, it's a real-life mystery.
The shooting itself becomes a media frenzy.
Right.
Reporters descend upon Oyster Bay,
Oh, yeah.
eager to uncover every detail of this tragedy. The public is captivated by the story. You've got a beautiful socialite, a prominent family, a life of privilege shattered by violence,
A classic.
and amidst all the speculation and sensationalism,
Right.
the investigation unfolds with surprising swiftness.
Really?
Anne's story, that she mistook Billy for an intruder
Right.
in a moment of panic and fear,
Yeah.
is largely accepted by the authorities.
So they believed her.
They did, but as you mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
there are whispers, doubts,
Right.
inconsistencies that fuel the rumor mill.
Of course.
Those who knew the Woodwards intimately were aware of the turmoil in their marriage,
Right.
the escalating arguments, the heavy drinking.
Yeah.
Some question whether the shooting was truly an accident.
And then there's the curious case of Paul Worth,
Right.
this man who comes forward
Yeah.
with a criminal past
Okay.
and confesses to being on the Woodward property that night.
So that muddies the waters a little bit.
It does.
His confession, along with testimony from a psychiatrist who had evaluated Anne, ultimately leads the grand jury to clear her of any wrongdoing.
Okay, so she's legally cleared.
She is legally cleared.
But does this really settle the matter?
Not for everyone, especially not for Elsie Woodward,
Oh,
Billy's mother.
of course.
She remains convinced of Anne's guilt,
Really?
and she uses her considerable wealth and influence
Right.
to orchestrate a campaign, to isolate Anne, to ensure she pays a price, even without a criminal conviction.
It's a fascinating example of how power and social standing
It is.
can shape the narrative even in the face of legal proceedings.
Elsie successfully maneuvers to have Anne relinquish custody of her sons,
Oh.
or sent to boarding schools in Switzerland.
So she loses her kids.
She does, and she receives a relatively meager inheritance,
Oh.
and is essentially exiled from New York society.
It's a devastating fall from grace.
It's,
For a woman who had climbed so high, only to lose everything in a single tragic moment.
And then, to make matters worse,
Oh.
Truman Capote enters the picture.
Oh, Truman Capote.
Yes, Truman Capote.
The author.
The celebrated author and one-time friend of the Woodwards
Right.
adds another layer of cruelty to this already complex tale.
Really?
He publishes a short story called La Côte Basque,
Okay.
which is a thinly veiled account of the shooting and its aftermath.
So he's basically writing about them.
He is, and he doesn't hold back.
Oh, no.
He paints a scathing portrait of Anne,
Wow.
depicting her as a cold, calculating social climber,
Ouch.
and heavily implying that she murdered Billy.
It's a betrayal that cuts deep.
It is.
Capote's story reopens old wounds, reignites the scandal,
Yeah.
and subjects Anne to a level of public scrutiny and humiliation that is almost unbearable.
Some even speculate that the publication of this story,
Yeah.
which revived all those rumors and accusations,
Right.
contributed to Anne's tragic suicide
Oh, no.
just days before it was released.
It's impossible to know for certain.
Right.
But it's clear that Capote's actions
Yeah.
had a devastating impact on Anne's reputation
Mhm.
and likely exacerbated her already fragile mental state.
This is a powerful example of the damage that words can inflict.
It is, yeah.
Especially when wielded by someone with Capote's literary talent and notoriety.
Right.
It's a reminder that even in the absence of a legal verdict,
Yeah.
there can be a social trial by media,
Mm-hmm.
a court of public opinion that can be just as brutal and unforgiving.
So with her reputation in tatters and her life in shambles
Right.
and retreats to Europe,
What becomes of her in those final years?
well, her life takes on this nomadic quality.
Okay.
She drifts from one place to another,
Yeah.
often relying on the kindness of acquaintances,
Right.
some more reputable than others.
Right.
It's a far cry from the glittering world she once inhabited.
It's a tragic end to a life marked by both ambition and misfortune.
It is.
And the tragedy doesn't end there.
It doesn't.
The shadow of this event, of their parents' tumultuous relationship and violent deaths,
Right.
looms large over the lives of Anne and Billy's two sons.
Right, the kids.
Yes. I was struck by the fate of James, their younger son. Despite the privilege and opportunities afforded to him,
Yeah.
he struggles with addiction and mental health issues,
Oh, wow.
ultimately taking his own life.
Oh, God.
It's a heartbreaking reminder of the enduring impact of trauma.
Indeed. And then there's Woody.
The older son.
He seems to defy the odds.
He does.
He builds a successful career,
Right.
enters politics,
Mm.
and appears to have escaped the curse that plagued his family.
Yeah.
But even he is not immune to the darkness that lingers.
His suicide, years later,
What?
jumping from his apartment window, just like his brother,
Oh, my gosh.
is a shocking reminder that some wounds run too deep,
Yeah.
that the past can sometimes claim us even when we think we've outrun it.
And there's another intriguing detail that adds another layer of complexity to this whole story.
Right.
In Roseanne Montel's book,
Yeah,
she suggests that Billy, just before his death,
right.
had uncovered the truth about Anne's fabricated backstory.
So he learns about her humble beginnings,
Right.
her relationship with his father, the lengths she went to reinvent herself.
Does this new information cast a different light on the shooting?
It makes you wonder if Anne sensed that she was about to lose everything. Did she act out of desperation?
Right.
Was it an impulsive act of self-preservation?
Yeah.
Or was it, as Elsie always believed, a calculated act of malice?
These questions linger even now.
They do.
Decades after the events unfolded.
Right?
The story of Anne and Billy Woodward is a tapestry.
It is.
Woven with threads of ambition, deceit, social pressure, and the enduring consequences of trauma.
It's a story that makes you think about the choices we make,
It does.
the secrets we keep, and the price we sometimes pay for the life we build.
It's a reminder that behind the glittering facade of wealth and privilege, human hearts beat with the same desires, fears, and vulnerabilities.
It does leave us with a haunting question.
Yeah.
Can we ever truly escape the forces that shape us, the shadows of our past? We'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Share your insights on our website.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Yes, subscribe to The Deep Dive for more explorations into the hidden stories behind the headlines.
Until next time.
Until next time, keep diving.